you wouldn't need to go to 120 minutes, I would argue, if the midfield could hold a bit better at times.
Well, I think you got to give credit to Liverpool, because the midfield was actually looking really good the first 15-20 minutes,
but
and
we've
then
said this about United before. They start strongly but fade off.
Yeah, we can say that. Yeah, I think then you've got to really start. Who's the leaders? We spoke about that again. Who's the leaders? Who's the one saying, Adam, grabbing you and pulling you in, making sure you're tucked in there, making sure everything's compact. It was so open. I think you showed pictures of how open it was, and Liverpool were getting joy. Liverpool were running riot at times, because again there was a lack of communication of sitting there or someone pushed forward. Because there was 3 players in certain parts of the pitch that didn't need to be 3 players.
What do you think it's lacking? What's the cohesion? Is it the triggers? Everyone's got different triggers, it seems. It should be one player goes forward and everyone moves as a unit.
Oh, yeah, that's how it should be. But clearly there's some sort of disconnect, like you're saying there. There's one point where our back line was in our own half and all our front players were on the edge of their box. So it's when you go in, and as a front player, when you go in, you can't always see what's behind you, so it's got to come from the back line for me to say, right, push, or we're squeezing up. There's some sort of communication problem there, and I get different times of the game, maybe game management also. You might go 1-0 up, you might think, right, we've been at it for 20 minutes now, let's just
have a little
sit back, but some people are still going, so you got to.
But who's saying that?
And well, that's the issue.
Who do you want
I think.
to say it? Who do you think should be the person?
I don't care who's saying it. Just get someone to say it.
It's usually defenders, though, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's usually
centre back who's just saying sit back, or the midfielder telling right.
The forwards don't want to sit back. The forwards want to go forward and score goals.
And just stay up there. But it usually comes from the centre back or there's one of the spine of the team who can see it all and can orchestrate it better.
Well, would you say for Liverpool that's Van Dijk? We can see how vocal he is out there.
Yeah, definitely. It's
so
definitely
that's what
Van Dijk.
you think United are lacking, that voice, that presence.
Yeah, some leaders, I think. Don't get me wrong. Obviously, Bruno, I think he's a fantastic player, and he works hard for the team. But you need more than just one person. You need 4 or 5 voices. You've been in dressing rooms where the manager has to do very little.
Yeah.
The team coordinates itself, and I don't think Man United have got that.
The thing with it is everyone looks at the captain, but you don't necessarily need your captain to be the one that's dictating things.
Yeah. Gerrard wasn't the most vocal, was he?
No, neither was Sami Hyypiä. But we had leaders out there. Carragher, we had Hyypiä, we had Hencho was a little bit different because he did it by what he actually did. But then you had Didi Hamann, you players like that who were vocal. And they didn't mind who was wearing the actual armband.
Yeah, it didn't matter.
They need the work done on the pitch.
Can I ask, only because Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was recently speaking with his ex-teammates, and he said Bruno was a bit too emotional, Bruno Fernandes.
Yeah, you can see it. We were saying, weren't we? He's always was like, do you think he needs to be sometimes holding it down or complaining to keep his levels high? I don't know if that's something he needs, but sometimes it's.
I think there's nothing wrong with that. But it needs managing, because the reality is if you take away that emotion, what do you get on the pitch? You might not get the same player, and we've been there with players that are very emotional. You take that emotion out of them, it's like, can you give me that back then?
Yeah,
because
or the opposite way, too emotional,
too much
making rash decisions and things like that. So
you have to be aware of how much they're doing. Because you don't want them sent off, you don't want them disturbing the game, but you still need that because they need a bit of fight and hunger.